So today's exercise is the neurovascular hold. It's a beautiful way to reach a place of peace and calm. So once you've done the video and you get to know it, go out into nature and spend some time holding the neurovasculars, and then once you've released the hands, just sit in peace and really drink in your surroundings. And right now it's bluebell time, so it's a perfect time to get out there and enjoy it.
So I'd like to talk to you about the neurovascular points, which are situated on the forehead. And they're really good points to use when you want to get the blood into the brain, into the front part of the brain. And you want to do that if you're under stress. Because when we go into stress, we can lose up to 80% of the blood in the brain, because it goes to our limbs ready to either run or fight for our lives. And we lose the part of the brain that wants to be curious, that will take risks, that is interested in trying new things. And that's why we tend to do what we know. So you can get really practiced at telling yourself, right, next time that happens, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to behave like this, and this. And when we're nice and calm, it's all really clear. And then when that thing triggers you again, you're off down the road saying the things you didn't want to say, doing the things you didn't want to do, even though if there's a part of you saying, stop, don't do it, you can't help yourself because survival's kicked in. And you may find yourself sometimes, or if you're trying to think, like bringing the hand to the head, or they're also called oh my God points, that you can fling your hand when you've remembered something. And actually what your body's doing is trying to get the blood back here so you can think straight, and so you can have more choice. And nature's smart. When you're under stress, the last thing you want to do is have choice, decide what you're going to do. You need to act. Okay. So, but what can happen is we can get into habits of not having much blood in the brain because, we're up in the morning, we're off, we live fast-paced lives. And if you've gone through a long period of time of being stressed, your body can just get into that habit of just having that old automatic pilot brain, um, in the driving seat of life. Okay, so before I go on, let's get into holding the neurovascular. So you can either put one hand on the front and one hand on the back of the head. We've got fear and panic neurovascular points here at the back, and these are the main neurovasculars. Or you can place the fingertips just in the middle of the eyebrows, where you get that little bump on the forehead. Place the fingertips lightly there, with the thumbs in the temples. And what's nice about this position is you can often feel the blood coming back, and you get this even pulse when the blood's back in the forebrain. So just stay there and breathe, holding wherever you feel. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what you're doing. So the way you can use this is, if you've had a stressful day, if you've had something that's upsetting you, or you've got even past memories, have holding your head and thinking about them. What you do as you draw the blood to the brain, you're starting to change your physiology to say this isn't a trauma, because when the blood's in the front part of the brain, we feel good, we feel safe. And obviously, if you need to, then you'd work with a practitioner if you're looking at trauma, or you're starting to feel overwhelmed. But with those niggly things, the things that bother you, there might be things in the past you feel a bit embarrassed about, or you regret. They're great ways just to let yourself go there anytime that comes up. If there's that cringe factor or pain in the body, a heartache, hold the head, and it's a great way to reprogram. It's a lovely thing to do to somebody else. So if they've had a hard day, if your child comes home from school and they're upset about something, get them to talk about it just while you hold the points. And what you'll find is they'll just stop eventually. As the blood comes to the brain, you get to that point of thinking, oh, it doesn't have the charge over me. Okay, so experiment with it. But the more we can get into the habits of having the blood in the brain, start the day lying in bed, take a few deep breaths, get the blood into the brains before you get up, or at night to help you to switch off. Just breathe and let that feeling of peace come over you. You don't need to think about a problem. You can just let the blood come to the brain and breathe and get yourself into that lovely, peaceful state.